And welcome, sports fans, to today's roundtable. And coming to the very end of the winter sports season this weekend, and now making the transition to the spring sports season, which we had some contests yesterday throughout the area for the spring sports season to get it underway. And we'll be getting into those contests that took place yesterday and starting to wrap up the winter sports season with high school basketball. Actually, today's the last day of the season, and we don't have any SEMO teams participating for today. So here for Southeast Missouri, the 2014-2015 basketball season has come to an end. And what a season it was. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But we're also going to, as I mentioned, talk about the spring sports contest from yesterday. Also, take a look at the BA Sports All-Star Extravaganza coming up next month in April here in Dexter. We've got rosters for those teams that will be participating in the All-Star Extravaganza here in Dexter. So we'll talk about that as well. And, of course, talk about March Madness, always a big time of the year for college basketball. And we'll have the Sweet 16 configured after this weekend. So a very exciting time. Starting to wrap up the winter into the spring. Got a little bit more sunshine, a little warmer weather. So it's been a pretty nice transition so far for this weekend. And first, let's start off with high school basketball that took place this weekend. Actually, yesterday, Friday, Notre Dame defeated Bolivar for third place in Class 4. In the Class 4 state tournament in Columbia, 65-44. No problem for the Notre Dame Bulldogs, as they come away with third place in this year's state tournament in Class 4. They dropped their third place game by 3 points to Hillcrest. And a very physical game that was with Hillcrest, but they fell by 3 points and had to go to the third place game to take on Bolivar. And had no problem with Bolivar coming away with third place in this year's Class 4 state tournament. So it wraps up a great season for Southeast Missouri. For 4 out of the 5 classifications, the boys had 4 teams from Southeast Missouri compete in the state Final Four in Columbia. There with Class 4, Notre Dame finished with third place. In Class 3, New Madrid County Central finished with third place. In Class 2, Scott County Central comes away with the state championship. They're in Class 2, and in Class 1 Advance finished with third place. So had 3 third-place finishes and a state championship from Southeast Missouri teams this year. And we almost had a clean sweep of 5 teams make it to Columbia, but Jackson fell just a bit short in the quarterfinal round against St. Louis University High by 8 points in the quarterfinal round. And Jackson just can't get over that quarterfinal hump here of late. They've had 3 straight quarterfinal appearances, just falling a bit short in that quarterfinal round. But almost a clean sweep of 5 classes, which would have been the first time we would have had Southeast Missouri teams representing every classification in boys basketball since they went to 5 classes back in 2003. 2003, they went from 4 to 5 classes. This would have been the first time since that expansion to 5 classes that all 5 classes would have been represented by Southeast Missouri teams in the state Final Four. But a great season, as we've said all year long. There hasn't really been any great teams out there. I know Scott County Central come away with a state championship, but they were probably a bit weaker than some of their past teams, but a very good team nonetheless. Just clear runaway great team this year, but a lot of very good teams, and a lot of teams really picked up their level of play this year. Teams that were kind of in the middle of the pack or at the bottom of their conferences really stepped up and played at a high level this year among some of the teams that have been there all along. So we had conferences across the board that were very competitive this year in the Stoddard County Conference, Boot Hill Conference, also the Tri-County Conference, and of course the SEMO Conference. Probably the toughest conference across the state, and a very high level of basketball being played this year. And it was certainly a privilege to cover it all, and hopefully you enjoyed it right here on Channel 21 on New Wave, and as well as SEMOsportzone.com. And also a reminder that you can watch every broadcast that we've done this year on SEMOSportZone.com. Go to SEMOSportZone.com, click on the videos tab, and you've got every broadcast that we've done this year here on Channel 21 and SEMOSportZone.com. They're archived right on that website on the videos tab, and you can go back a number of years. I think the past 2 years, or not, including this year, we've got the past 2 years that the broadcasts that we've done here on Channel 21 and on SEMOSportZone.com. So you can watch any broadcast that we've done on that website, SEMOSportZone.com, and that includes football as well. So that wraps up a very good basketball season. Of course, we'll be looking forward to another year next year. Hopefully you'll join us right here on YHC Channel 21 and SEMOSportZone.com. And let's move on to some spring sports results that took place yesterday. And Dexter opened up their season on the road in Doniphan, got a 5-0 victory. So Dexter starts out the season 1-0 with a victory on the road in Doniphan. And in other games, Campbell over Portageville, 4-2. 4-2 victory, Campbell over Portageville in the Boot Hill Conference. Also, Jackson over Kelly, 4-0. Jackson getting the shutout victory over Kelly yesterday afternoon. Also, Poplar Bluff over East Carter County, 4-2. Poplar Bluff getting the victory over East Carter. And also, Chaffee over Naylor in a big win, 16-0. Chaffee, known as one of the top baseball programs in the area, and they showed it in that opener with a 16-0 victory over Naylor. Also in girls softball, it was Scott City over Clearwater, 12-8. Scott City with a slugfest victory over Clearwater, 12-8. And also Greenville over Southern Reynolds, 16-1. Decisive victory for the Greenville Lady Bears in girls softball yesterday afternoon. Also in girls soccer, Saxony Lutheran over Farmington in a shutout, 6-0. And Sykeston over Kelly in Kelly's first game as a girls soccer program. Sykeston got the victory in a shutout, 3-0. And that's all of your spring sports results from yesterday. As I said, just getting underway with those games yesterday for the first day, and we'll be getting into more of those contests going forward. And we're going to try to get out and get some highlights of some baseball, some track contests, and also some girls softball contests from the area. So we'll try to bring that to you right here on the Roundtable each Saturday. And we're going to take a quick break and be back with more coming up.
We want a chance to earn your business here at Harry Blackwell Ford in Malden, Missouri. And with prices like these, we will.
Like this beautiful 2012 Ford Focus SEL with only 53,000 miles for $13,900.
Look at this loaded 2008 Nissan Maxima SL for $11,900. Come see Bub at Harry Blackwell Ford.
And I'm here to make sure all your financing needs are met.
I'm Harry Blackwell, inviting you to join our family for your next automobile. You'll be glad you did.
Deposit your check here or here or even there. Deposit your check wherever you are with First Midwest Bank's new mobile deposit. Just tap, snap, deposit. It's that simple. New mobile deposit from First Midwest Bank, serving the communities we call home.
Always on the go? Take the best in TV entertainment with you with New Wave to Go. Now you can enjoy your home television service everywhere, anytime on your laptop, tablet, or smartphone. Watch your favorite channels and sporting events live via the internet. Even access your home DVR to enjoy your recorded shows and movies or to set up future recordings. Prices start at just $12.99 a month. So call us today and ask about New Wave to Go. Another innovative service brought to you by New Wave, your local communications experts.
And welcome back, and now we're going to take a look at the final polls for high school basketball for Southeast Missouri. And this is the SEMOSportZone.com Top 25 Boys Poll. And for the final poll, Notre Dame finishing at number 1, 27-5 with a third-place finish in Class 4. Second, Scott County Central winning the Class 2 state championship with a record of 27-4. 3, New Madrid County Central with a final record of 26-5, winning third place in Class 3. Fourth, Jackson at a record of 23-7, quarterfinalists in Class 5. And number 5, Sykeston at 18-9. 6, Cape Central at 20-7. 7, Poplar Bluff at 19-6. 8, Charleston at 17-11. 9, Park Hill Central at 23-6. Number 10, Bernie at 22-6. 11, Woodland at 21-8. And following them is 12, Advance, the Class 1 third place Advance Hornets. 13, Valley Catholic. 14, Bloomfield. 15, Malden. 16, Hayti. 17, Southern Reynolds. 18, Gideon. 19, Zenith Hornersville. 20, Scott City. 21, Oran. 22, Neelyville. 23, Farmington. 24, Twin Rivers. And 25, St. Genevieve. And those are that's your top 25 poll from SEMOSportZone.com. And we do have a correction quickly. Poplar Bluff should be number 6 and Cape Central at number 7. Just a little correction there in those rankings. They're in the top 10. And as we mentioned, Neelyville there at number 22. 23, Farmington. 24, Twin Rivers. And 25, St. Genevieve. Rounding out the top 25 poll from SEMOSportZone.com. So that's your final poll for boys basketball this season. And the girls' top 15 poll. Taking a look at that for the final poll. Park Hill Central finished at a record of 30-1 and the Class 3 state champions. And they had no problem at the Final Four, winning, I believe it was like 55-19 in the championship game over Cardinal Ritter. No problem for the Lady Rebels from Park Hill Central securing that Class 3 state championship. And second, Saxony Lutheran with a record of 29-1, and their lone loss come to Park Hill Central in the quarterfinal round at Jefferson College in Hillsboro. And so that proved to be the state championship in that quarterfinal round. Went into overtime. Park Hill Central got the 6-point victory over then undefeated Saxony Lutheran. So really great game that proved to be the state championship, as Park Hill Central had no problem in the Final Four in their semifinal and championship games. So two great teams there at the top of that poll in Park Hill Central and Saxony Lutheran. And at number 3, Neelyville with a record of 22-5. 4 is actually we got a swap here. Actually, it shows Naylor, but it should be Dexter. Dexter at 17-10 at number 4. And at number 5 should be Naylor at 23-7. And Naylor coming up just short of the Class 1 state championship. They finished second in the state in Class 1. A great year for the Naylor Lady Eagles. And speaking of the Dexter Lady Bearcats, they fell in the sectional round to North County in the Class 4 sectionals, and they won their 5th straight district championship this year. So an impressive run for the Dexter Lady Bearcats this season. And at number 6, Sykeston at a record of 20-6. And Sykeston having their first 20-win season in their girls program history. And they really stepped it up this year, as Notre Dame and Dexter really dominated that district this year, and for the past number of years. And Sykeston stepped it up, finished the year at 20-6, and we're in the finals of the Class 4 District 1 tournament, falling to Dexter. So Sykes is one of those teams over the next few years that will be forced to be reckoned with in girls basketball. And number 7, Twin Rivers finishing at 17-11. 8, Jackson at 18-10. 9, Chaffee at 22-6. 10 Greenville at 17-8, 11 Charleston at 17-7, 12 Kelly at 18-7, 13 Portageville at 17-8, 14 Oran at 14-11, and 15 Clearwater at 12-10. And that's your SEMOSportZone.com girls top 15 poll for the final poll this year. And we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the BA Sports All-Star Extravaganza. BA Sports All-Star Extravaganza taking place next month here in Dexter. So we're going to take a break and be back with that coming up.
What is your emergency? Need assistance at County Road 61 and Highway 9. Help is on its way.
Clear! There's a better way to jumpstart your soil back to health. Apply Endzone to protect and increase nitrogen efficiency without killing bacteria. Apply Prevent to increase phosphorus availability and reduce fixation. Better yet, use them both to get more from your fertilizer investment and see higher potential yields. Ag Explorer, your prescription for healthy soil.
Welcome to NFL Total Access,
the show that takes you inside the locker room and down on the field. With inside access to all 32 teams all year long. NFL Total Access, Monday through Saturday, only on NFL Network.
NFL Network, where football season never ends.
And now we're going to take a look at the BA Sports All-Star Extravaganza, which will be taking place April 11th at the Dexter Bearcat Event Center here in Dexter, and that will be starting at 9 a.m. with the girls volleyball game at 9 a.m. and then go to the boys basketball game, which I think will be the Class 1 and 2 boys game following that, and then the girls basketball game for Classes 1 through 5. Following that, and then later in the afternoon, the boys class 3, 4, and 5 basketball game, and including the three-point and slam dunk competition, and all taking place at the Bearcat Event Center here in Dexter on April 11th. So that's something to look forward to for the volleyball and basketball All-Stars from Southeast Missouri. And we've got rosters for those teams that are coming up for April 11th, and it might be a little tough to see these rosters here, but I'll go down the roster here for boys class 1 and 2 basketball game. These are the two teams, and starting on the left side with team number 1, it's Dalton Wilson from Advance, Caleb Ellenberg from Bernie, Trey Moore of Clarkton, Tyler McClellan of Cooter, also Aaron Boyer of East Carter County. Also Matt Nicolai of Neelyville. Sam Phillips of Neelyville. Hunter Schlosser of Oran. Seth Luttrell of Puxico. Skylar Harper of Richland. Also Javante Daniel of Scott County Central. And also we have from South Iron, that is Corbin Rubel from South Iron. And the coaches for the Class 1 team, Brad Botch of Bernie, Keenan Buchanan of Gideon, and Jason Carnes of Bloomfield. On for the second team on the right side, that's Matt Byrne of Bernie, Brandon Sparks of Bernie as well, Dakota Featherston of Campbell, from Greenville, Matt Wood, Zach Elfrink of Leopold, Mikey Cook of Naylor, Jacob Priggle of Oran, Zach Tucker of Puxico, Marcus Grayson of Richland, Matthew Blissett of Scott County Central, Demetrius Cornell of South Iron, and DJ Hankins of Zalma. And the coaches for the second team are Dennis Wheatley of Advance, Bubba Wheatley, and also Frank Staple of Scott County Central, and Dusty Dinkins of South Iron. And those are your Class 1 and 2 boys teams for the Class 1 and 2 basketball game at the BA Sports All-Star Extravaganza. And for Class 1 through, let's go to Class 3 through 5 boys. The Class 3 through 5 boys game, starting with Jackson. That's Blake Reynolds of Jackson. Also, Braden Wendell of Jackson. And also we have Eli Tripp of Perryville, Chris Stocks of Poplar Bluff, also John Eiler and Pat Tillman of Poplar Bluff, Keenan Mosby of Portageville, Corbin Blissett of Sykeston, Clayton Mueller of St. Genevieve, Seth Snyder of Twin Rivers, and Garrett Reynolds of Woodland. That makes up the first team, Class 3 through 5, and the coaches of this team, Greg Hollifield of Sykeston, William Durden of Poplar Bluff, and Darren Scott of Jackson. And for the second team, on the right side, from Arcadia Valley, Austin, is that Garrett? Oh, excuse me, it's Garnest of Arcadia Valley. Also from Arcadia Valley, Clayton Jones from Cape Central, Andre Statham from Charleston, Delfinco Bogan. From Clearwater, Davon Slack. From East Prairie, Brandon Evans. East Prairie, also Seth Bays. From Hayti, Indiquilla Presbury, Malden, Cortez Dobbins. From New Matter County Central, both Willie Jemerson and Aston Newsom. From Notre Dame, Quinn Poitras, and also Grant Russell from Notre Dame. And the coaches for this team, Drew Church of Cape Central, Danny Farmer of Charleston, and Travis Day of New Madrid County Central. And now going to the Class 1 through 5 girls game. There's only one girls game, and all from Classes 1 through 5. And the first team on the left side from Cape Central, Madison Dom. Also from Chaffee, Jordan Pruitt. From Charleston, Joanna Walker. From Greenville, Samantha Rainwater. From Jackson, Rachel Kreitz. From Kennett, Kate Shetley. From Meadow Heights, Emma Cook. Also from Meadow Heights, Claire Hotop. Also from Naylor, Shayna Tharp. From Oran, Allison Cummins. Jill Kellums of Portageville, and Madison Reynolds of St. Genevieve. And the coaches of this team, Sam Sides of Saxony Lutheran, Becky Hale of Neelyville, and Jean Deckard of Naylor. And for the other girls team, Anna Thomas of Arcadia Valley, also Kristen Williams of Arcadia Valley, Brittany Mathis of Bunker, Sierra Frazier of Charleston, also Leslie Morris of Clearwater. Also we have from Kelly, Teresa Johnson, also Logan Ivy of Kelly. And also we have from Malden, we have Justice Carlock. From Neelyville, we have Jasmine Smith. From Poplar Bluff, Saley Webb. And from South Iron, Kaya Brooks from South Iron. And the coaches, Tyler Abernathy of Jackson, Chad Allen of Dexter, and Matt Shanoff of Sykeston. That's the girls' game for the BA Sports All-Star Extravaganza. Now for the girls' volleyball game. This makes up Classes 1 through 5. And there actually might just be 4 classes in volleyball. But nonetheless, it's every class in this game. And we have Madison Dom of Cape Central. From Chaffee, we got Jordan Pruitt. From Charleston, Joanna Walker. Greenville, Samantha Rainwater. From Jackson, Rachel Kreitz. From Kennett, Kate Shetley. From Meadow Heights, Emma Cook. From Meadow Heights, and actually we got this one. This one's wrong, so I'm just gonna. That's actually a duplicate of the girls' basketball game. So actually, I've got it right here. Get to the volleyball. Got the volleyball teams right here. So, and for the first team for the volleyball, It's Chelsea DeLay of Bloomfield, Lindsey Young of Bloomfield, Kayla Thurman of Jackson, also Mackenzie Scott of Jackson. From Leopold, both Caitlin Petty and Bailey Cope of Leopold. Lydia Goodson of Notre Dame, Brooke Mull of Perryville, Brittany Bessinger and Maddie Barham from Portageville, Lauren Beidler of Sykeston, also Esther Chinwuko of Sykeston, and coaches for this girls' team is David Murley of Perryville, Julie Brandmeier of Saxony Lutheran, and Sandy Davis of Leopold. And for the other girls' volleyball team, Hannah Clark of Advance, Allie Holmes of Clearwater, Jessica Lindsay of Dexter, and Cheyenne Gines of Dexter. From Kennett, Jackie Lockhart. From Leopold, Ashlyn Bucher. From Perryville, both Alexandra Spears and Libby Schnurbush. Also from Poplar Bluff, both Haley Huffman and Corey Tapp. And from Saxony Lutheran, Abigail Bergman. And from South Iron, Madison Rubel. And coaches for this team, Carbon Morgan of Dexter, Aaron Hoffman of Bernie, and Tara Stroop of Notre Dame. That makes up the girls' volleyball game for the BA Sports All-Star Extravaganza. So those are your rosters for this year's teams. And again, that takes place April 11th at the Dexter Bearcat Event Center starting at 9 a.m. with the girls' volleyball game. So look forward to that next month here in Dexter. And we're going to take another break and be back with March Madness results and preview of the Sweet 16 for this weekend. We're going to take a break and be back with that coming up.
NFL Red Zone, the channel that brings you every touchdown from every game on Sunday afternoons. Watch the most exciting moments like never before, live in HD. Every touchdown from every game, live on one channel, NFL Red Zone.
And welcome back. We're going to take a look at the NCAA men's basketball tournament as it got underway this past Thursday and finished up the first round last night with the results. And just taking a look at the results from last night, Friday, the second seed Kansas Jayhawks beat New Mexico State. The 15th seed 75-56. And a couple of upsets from yesterday. Dayton, the 11th seed, late last night, knocked off the 6th seed, Providence, 66-53. And also taking a look at 7th seeded Iowa defeated 10th seeded Davidson, 83-52. No problem for Iowa over Davidson. 3rd seeded Oklahoma defeated 14th seeded Albany, 69-60. Top seeded Duke easily over Robert Morris, the 16th seed, 85-56. The 8th seed Oregon over 9th seed Oklahoma State, 79-73. And a close one, Louisville, the 4th seed, defeated 13th seeded University of California, Irvine. That's UC Irvine, 57-55. And Louisville escaping with a victory yesterday afternoon. 4th seeded Maryland over 13th seed of Valparaiso, 65-62 in a close one. Wichita State, the 7th seed, defeated 10th seeded Indiana, 81-76. 5th seeded University of Northern Iowa over 12th seeded Wyoming, 71-54. 5th seeded West Virginia over 12th seeded Buffalo in a close one, 68-62. 7th seeded Michigan State over 10th seeded Georgia, 70-63. Those were the games from yesterday in the tournament, and games to look forward to today, this Saturday, for the round of 32 in the 3rd round of the tournament, and the winners advance to the Sweet 16 next week. And 5th seeded Arkansas takes on 4th seeded North Carolina. That'll be on TNT this evening at 7:40, and here at 11 o'clock, just after 11. coming up is 14th seeded Alabama Birmingham taking on 11th seeded UCLA. Both of those teams pulling off upsets in the first round, or in the round of 64. That was Alabama Birmingham over, that was, I believe that was Iowa State, if I'm not mistaken. That was Iowa State, I believe they beat. Yes, Iowa State they beat, and UCLA defeated 6th seeded SMU. So we got a couple of lower seed teams there between UAB and UCLA, and that's at 11:10 on CBS. At 1:40 on CBS later today, it's 8th seeded Cincinnati taking on top overall seed Kentucky. That'll be at 1:40 on CBS. At 4:15 on CBS, it's 10th seeded Ohio State taking on 2nd seeded Arizona. At 5:10 on TNT, it's going to be Georgia State, the 14th seed, taking on Xavier, the 6th seed, as Georgia State defeated Baylor, the third seeded Baylor. So got Georgia State and Xavier at 5:10 on TNT. At 6:10 on TBS, it's going to be 8th seeded North Carolina State taking on top seeded Villanova. And at 6:45 on CBS, 5th seeded Utah taking on 4th seeded Georgetown. At 8:40 on TBS, it's going to be 6th seeded Butler taking on 3rd seeded Notre Dame. Those are today's games. The winner advancing to the Sweet 16. And tomorrow's games, Sunday, there's going to be at 11:10 on CBS, 7th seeded Michigan State taking on 2nd seeded Virginia. At 1:40, top seeded Duke taking on 8th seeded San Diego State on CBS. At 5:10 on TNT, it's going to be 11th seeded Dayton taking on 3rd seeded Oklahoma. At 6:10 on TBS, it's going to be 7th seeded Iowa taking on 2nd seeded Gonzaga. At 6:45 on True TV, it's going to be 8th seeded Oregon versus top seeded Wisconsin. At 7:40 on TNT, it's going to be 5th seeded West Virginia taking on 4th seeded Maryland. And also at 4:15 on CBS, it's going to be 2nd seeded Kansas taking on 7th seeded Wichita State. And at 8:40 Sunday night on TBS, it's going to be 5th seeded Northern Iowa taking on 4th seeded Louisville. So those are the games to look forward to this weekend. The round of 32. And after this weekend, we'll have the Sweet 16 set for next week. So a very exciting time for March Madness and college basketball. And we'll be looking forward to seeing how it plays out this weekend. And that's pretty much all we've got for you for today. And we appreciate you for tuning in as always. And as we've wrapped up the winter sports season, transitioning into the spring, and closing the book on a great winter sports season for both boys and girls basketball. And, of course, the wrestling had a fine wrestling season as well in the area. So closing the book on the winter sports season. It was fun. Certainly going to be remembered for one of the best years we've covered here on YHC Channel 21 and SEMOSportZone.com. And we'll look forward to seeing you here right back here with us next Saturday for another roundtable. And until then, I'm Tyler Wagner. Have yourself a nice weekend. Take care, everyone.